Welcome back to more Kodu. Today I was going to show you a little hide and seek game that I programmed, but in this video you'll see that I've added some terrain so that in addition to programming animation you can also add terrain characters that make the game a little bit more challenging and shortcut the animation you have to program and give the objects you put in there something to react against. So I'm going to show you the game first and then I'll show you the programming behind it. So in this case I have a little Kodu and his motions are controlled by the arrow keys. And you can see I have some obstacles here, and I have a little sea turtle here too, and he's controlled by the Q, W, E, and R keys on your keyboard. Q makes him go south, W makes him go west, E makes him go east, the other direction, and R makes him go north. And you'll see he's already exhibiting the contact that I played into this, which is if they touch each other, a point is awarded. So the object of this game is that they can move independently of each other. So while you move the Kodu this way, he can be running for him, which in this case not very effectively. Let's move him away, get him away from there. Oops, hang on a sec. There we go. So he's going to hide, and then you can see the Kodu is saying, where did he go? So you can have him sort of follow him. So you can have two players in this case. So what I want you to show you is the basic programming behind that. And you'll see by clicking on the character here, you can get his programming revealed. Right-click, Program, and you'll see that I programmed for his motion to be controlled by the arrow keys to move forward, and when he bumps into turtle to give a point of 1. And you'll see for sea turtle his programming is simply the direction. And in his case, when you hit the letter Q, he moves south. You hit W, moves west. Hit E, he moves east. And when you hit R, he moves to the north. So the cool part about this is that here I've introduced the terrain. You can see the bumpy terrain here and some walls, and I also introduced some water. You'll also see in here that there are some spaces where there is no terrain programmed. For example, you'll see here, and let's move them around a little bit. These guys move a little bit here. Let's see. You'll see right up around here there's no, and these will be essentially barriers. They're glass wall effects. The characters can't move beyond them. So you'll come to see that that'll be a helpful way to program your scenery too, because you might want to build a barrier that's sort of invisible but the character reacts to them. So yeah, to get back to how you program this, you go ahead and click on the little paintbrush here, and you'll see once you get the little yellow brackets around it, you can pick your backgrounds by clicking on these 4 little colored squares, and you can see by using your arrow key you can pick the background you want. When you pick a background, it's sort of interesting. It's like mowing a lawn. So I'm going to pick, just for the sake of getting this started, this green one. And you also pick your brush here. I'm going to stick with the square one. You can see here your choices. And if you hold down the left mouse key, you can hear a little mowing effect, and you sort of paint it across the bottom. Now, the next thing you can do, that's just to get the terrain established. You can add characteristics to it. And that would be the next. I guess you can clear this by hitting escape. And then go escape again, go back to programming. You have these effects here, which is the up-down to create hills or valleys. This flattens, so it either flattens everything to be at the same height, tall, or you can go back to here and also use, go back to the paint tool and also use that to delete. So there's a couple of things you can do if you're trying to fix something that you added here. You can either delete it or you can flatten it out at a high level. This tool here makes you really spiky, and I use this tool to create this effect here. And if you click on this water effect and you go to the 4 little boxes up here, you get a choice of the color of the water you can add. You can see I've already added some before I started this recording. You can make a dark murky water or iridescent water. So you've got a bunch of features here you can work with. Let's do one here. So for the green one that I just added, let's highlight it back in yellow, and let's use the circle tool. And you see when I do that, see how it makes it spiky? Now let's say, oh, I didn't want to do that. You go back to the paint tool and right click on your mouse, and that takes it out. Now if you do that though, it creates a glass wall, so then you would need to go back up here, pick your background again, and repaint it, because if you leave that just blank, your poor little character is going to not have anywhere to go. So that, in a nutshell, is how you program your backgrounds. I wanted to do one more thing, was show you how I created the walls. For those, I went to this little tool here, and if you right click in your background, you'll see a bunch of choices here: add wall, add row, add flora, adds little mushrooms. So in this case, I clicked on add wall, and you'll see you get this little thing, these two little things, and these nodes. The nodes are what control the programming. So if I clicked escaped now, that would just one little pillar would happen. I'm going to go back here, add wall. It's going to do it again. So if I click this one, I'll have a wall that's 2 cylinders wide. And you can also program, so I'm going to hit escape here. You can also add characteristics to this, but you have to click on the little node. Okay, click on the node, you get the yellow, and you're going to get options to change the height or change the type. In this case, I want to make this not quite so tall. And you see where it's blinking yellow is where it will bring it down to, and you have to do it for both sides, otherwise you're going to get one of those uneven walls. So what you did to the one, do to the other. Now it's kind of tricky. These are a little bit more difficult to program because you don't see them until you hit escape with the result of your work. So now in this case I have to be careful because he's now off my little ground. So I'm going to add some ground to fix that. So you can see it's just a matter of really kind of playing with this a little bit. There's some more artistry than you'd think about this. There we go. Let's see. Where are my little guys? There we go. So there's more artistry than you would think. I'm just kind of playing with it a little bit. So I think when you get going, you'll find that you'll have things that drop off your scene, and don't worry about it. You can always fix it. But it's just kind of neat because you can make a nice hide and seek game because you can have your characters hide behind the different things that you build. So that's it for today for Kodu, and we will talk soon and learn more games.